Okay, I got the parts bags out again. That's a big no-no for me. Starting in on my third CP3008 conversion. So this one's going to be pretty special. And I'm just starting the disassembly right now. This guy's going to be green and black. And I guess I'll leave that up to you guys to figure out which one that's going to be. But it's not going to be a CP or a CN or a GT. Yeah, so this is a GP38AC from Atlas, and I was able to pick it up from a local guy. Thank you very much, James. And this is going to become a GP38-2. So some parts I need. I need the filter box, that's missing. And I got to put some front ditch lights. This does not have rear ditch lights. A couple fuel filters, and some Canon parts here. These are GP38 screens. Not the chicken wire. Well, they are chicken wire, but they're not as long as these ones. And here's the it does have a dynamic braking fan or element, whatever it is, hatch, but it does have 4 exhaust stacks, so I'm gonna have to drill some holes and put those ones on. Not too big a deal. And I got some Canon fans and grills coming, so those will be replaced. The Atlas ones will be pulled out and replaced. That's going to be gutted. And yeah, going to get a full bath in the isopropyl alcohol. The other part here, this came off of a Walthers, what was it? Here's an SD70. No. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, but what I need to take off of this are these, I guess they'd be shock absorbers, because the trucks on this engine that I'm going to do, they don't have brakes, brake cylinders on both ends of the trucks, and they don't have the brake pads out here. Instead of having this cylinder here, they've got this shock absorber over top of the bearing here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do some truck work, which is a first for me. But anyway, I think I've got all the parts. I do have to build myself a longer fuel tank, so I'm gonna cut this in 2 and then splice in a piece in the middle, because I can't find any more Atlas fuel tanks. I may put an ad out and ask for people to see what they've got. But yeah, so it needs a longer fuel tank. I'm going to custom build quite a few things. So I'm going to custom build the anti-climber. This one has an anti-climber that sticks out quite far. I'm going to custom build the spare knuckle couples. There's a spare 2 spare knuckles on the back of this guy here. Interestingly, it still has the old school pilot, I guess you'd call it, minus the steps. You can't ride on, but it still has this piece here, so that's an easy, just lop that off in its prototype. What else? All the lighting is in the right place, which is nice. And then yeah, so there'll be some custom building stuff. I've got to take the hatch off here and replace it with the GP38-2 one, and a lot of cab roof stuff that I have to go on. I'm going to custom build the horn. I'm not sure what kind of horn it is. It's a 3-chime horn anyway, so I got to custom build that. I can't find anything to match it, and I've got a lot of horn parts, so I'll just assemble something to match it very closely. And what else? Oh, the plow is pretty dinged up, so I'll be doing a custom plow on the front. And yeah, anyway, that's my next one. I've almost got all the parts, and I'm just waiting for a bit more, and I can start disassembling. Anyway, it's been a long time since I did a video, and so I'm going to try and record this build through from start to finish. Cheers. Okay, following up from my previous video, I've done a little bit more work on this guy. Cleaned up the engine now. I've got it at the bath in isopropyl, so it's all clean. I had to make sure I got the stripes off because they would show through any new paint job. Took a little while, actually a lot longer than I thought. I never actually got the full CP logo off, but it's down enough that it's not going to show through once it's primed. So that's the main shell there. And I've done a bit of prep on the sill here. So I've replaced the back Atlas plate there, step, with a permanent one. That's just made out of my sheet aluminum. And I've also extended the anti-climber as well. So this is a Canon part that I customized. Basically cut it to fit, and then added two new sides on out of styrene. And I had to notch down the front plate here, so it drops down and then notches out. So I did the notch on both sides. So that's pretty much the work I've done on this. On the chassis, I've done a few things. I used my tiny round file here to notch in a slot for the ground lights. So that slot goes on both sides. I just fit an 0402 LED in there, and it shines down through the tube that I've kind of notched out and created. And that goes right behind the jacking pad. You can see the trucks now are a little bit different. I've cut the brakes off. I got rid of one of the brake cylinders, and I cut those shock pieces off that other Walters truck and glued them on here. So that's looking more like the prototype now. Did find an example on a CN GP40-2W that had exact trucks that I needed, so I matched those. What I usually do is take an old credit card and just plop that on the Atlas pins here, just to keep all wires and stuff away from the flywheels. I still have to mill down this portion of the extra weight here to fit a speaker in. I'm going to put a 40 mil scale sound system speaker in here, so I got to cut that off to fit the speaker. That's pretty much all I'm done with the chassis. Still got lots of nice weight to it. I'll just show the difference between, this is a 2002 Atlas GP38, and I'll show the difference between a 2007. So this might interest some people here. So I've tried to customize my own speaker box. It sounds okay, but it's not as good as the Scale Sound, so I think I'll stick with Scale Sounds for now. Anyway, what I wanted to show was the difference in how they made these chassis. So 2002 in the background here. Obvious difference with the motor is the two flywheels are much bigger than the 2007, 2008 versions. And that does equate to smoother running. So, I prefer the older chassis. The older chassis is heavier. It's got more weight to it. I think it's because they didn't even leave room for a speaker in here. This is when they started introducing sound, I guess, and they started doing the 35 mil round speakers. I don't like those, so I just notch it out on the grinder, and I put in a Scale Sound System one. Anyway, that's the difference here. As far as I can see, the motor, I think, is a better job in the 2002. Obviously, they got to give something weight-wise when they put a speaker in. So this is my other one that I'm working on. Anyway, I just wanted to show the difference there. So yeah, this guy's going to go on top like this. These are my two Atlas light tubes, the plexiglass, or what do you call them, acrylic light tubes. What I do is I take my hobby saw. If you don't have one of these, get one. They're awesome. Very thin razor saw, and I just cut down on either side. And I reach a point where I can grab some pliers here. Hopefully just snap this out if I don't break it. I won't do that on camera. I'll snap this one off. This one's probably going to go a lot easier. Yeah. Okay, so now I've got two pieces. And this one's for the rear headlight, and this one's for the number boards. And what I'll do is paint the joining part black and silver, and I'll put an LED on this and an LED on this, and they'll be independently operated. Same thing with this guy here. I notch this down as far as I can go, and I snap this middle piece out, cut the light tube short, stick an LED in here, stick an LED in here, and they both operate independently. Of course, you got to paint all your sawn edges here just so there's no light bleed between the two of them. Anyway, that's how I do my my light tubes for Atlas engines. Really quite an easy job. One last thing I want to mention too, I did apply some tape to this part of the weight, just because all of my connections for lighting are going to be right here, and also the motor wires are going to be right here. I don't want any kind of looseness in this board to accidentally tap onto this guy here and short everything out. So it's a good idea to protect your frame. All right. Thanks for tuning in.